Okay, hello everyone. Anyone can confirm if my voice is audible? Okay, let's start. Hello everyone, and welcome to our webinar on Certified Red Team Specialist V2 launch. I'm Nandini Bharadwaj, the Operating Officer at Cyber Warfare Labs, and I'm really excited to have you all with here us today. Let's get started. Okay, so before we jump on the main topic, let me give you a brief about our company, Cyber Warfare Labs. Cyber Warfare Labs is a UK-based edtech company. The company is committed to addressing cybersecurity challenges with real-time hands-on solution. Our virtual platform allows users to refine their skills through plug-and-play, practical labs, and a diverse range of certification courses. The company has two main divisions. You can see here the first is Cyber Range Lab. So this division focuses on providing practical real-time solution to cybersecurity. In simple form, they offer a virtual platform where user can engage in hands-on training through practical labs that are ready to use. And the second one is upscaling platform. Cyber Warfare Labs offer a wide range of on-demand courses designed for individual at all skills level, and its instructor-led training services are available to educational institute, government agencies, and corporate organization as well. Both online and offline options are available. So, for more information, you can contact our support. Okay, let's move on to our next slide. Okay. Let me introduce to our speaker of today's webinar. So our speaker of today's webinar is Mr. Yash Bharadwaj. He is the co-founder and technical director at CWUK Labs Private Limited. With our 6.5 years of experience as a technologist, Yash is highly focused on discovering new offensive engagement tactics, techniques, and procedure. His expertise includes designing, building, and teaching red and blue team lab simulations. Yash has delivered hands-on trainings at prestigious events such as Nalcon, ZeefCon, NorthSec, besides OSAP and CISO platform, YesCon, and many more. You can connect him on the Twitter. His username is @propyash. Okay, here the about speaker. If you have any other questions related to any topic, feel free to ask at the end of the webinar and you can type them into the question box. Also, we will be providing you with attendance certificate and the video recording of the same after the webinar, and some of the lucky winners will get a chance to win the access of Certified Red Team Specialist V2 course, that is the exclusive launch that will be announced soon after the webinar. Without further ado, I would like Yash to take over from here and let's get started. So, thank you, and I hope you will enjoy today's webinar. Happy learning, and over to you, Yash. Thank you.
Hi all. Thanks, Nandini, for the warm introduction. Uh, yeah, just a second.
Welcome.
Just a second, Nandini. Okay. Yeah. So thanks a lot, Nandini, for the warm introduction, and I would like to welcome all of you to this awesome webinar where we will be launching this our new brand new course, that is Red Team Specialist. And this course has been everyone's favorite, as this is one of our first course that we have delivered to the audience, and everyone has loved it so far. Over the 3 years we have been running it continuously, and there are a lot of people who got certified with the version 1. And now we will be covering a lot of new things in the version 2. So today's webinar, we will not only focus on the upcoming launch, that is the CRTS V2 launch, but also we will understand the current cybersecurity scenarios, as well as how 2024 will look like in terms of cybersecurity. And then we will understand few of the interesting case studies that we have seen in during our assessments. And yeah, then we will proceed with the Red Team Specialist launch. So without any further delay, I will quickly share my screen. Just a second. Yeah. So I hope my screen is visible. Okay. Yeah. So this is the agenda for today that we will be discussing. That is security landscape in 2024. So how the 2024 or the new year looks like in terms of cybersecurity, the new emerging attacks, how the red team will be packaging the things, how they will be operating. So a lot of trends, and this is just a prediction. Okay, we will be discussing about these things. Then we will understand about a couple of case studies. So one was the recent September hack of MGM, big telecom company in US. So we will be understanding about this case study. Second, we will be learning about the GitLab self-hosted runner. So this is an interesting case study, also included in the CRTS V2 course. Then yeah, some of the features of CRTS V2. So here we will be then starting with this course launch. Then we will be going with the lab overview, then the lab highlights, who will be the target audience, the prerequisite, and the ending note. Also, there is an webinar giveaway, as well as, sorry, attendance of certificate that we will be providing to all the registered candidates, as well as we will be selecting five candidates from the whole response we got. We have run an giveaway in LinkedIn, and there was a very awesome response. A lot of people were interested in the same course, so we hope to provide these giveaway to the candidates who will be very interesting to understand and learn these things practically in the lab environment. And yeah, so let's quickly get started. So these are some of the security landscape predictions in 2024 that we have researched, we have understood based on a lot of things that we have done so far. So we will see that there is an increase. There will be an increase in CI/CD supply chain attacks, as evident from the previous events that have been happening. So like we understand that there will be a lot of attacks that will be specifically focused on the supply chain attacks. There will be a lot of threat actors abusing, or let's say compromising any organization, which can be leveraged to gain further infection in the other organization which they are taking their service, etc. Then second, we are thinking that there will be a lot of remote access services exploitation. So there are a lot of since organizations are still following the hybrid model, or some of the organizations are still following the remote model. And because of these things, the organization needs to expose their remote services so that the employees can access all things remotely. So we might see a lot of details related to this remote access service exploitation in the next coming quarters. The evident would be the VDI based attacks, the remote desktop gateways getting compromised, and some of the identity providers like Okta and the other ones. So we might see such kind of things abused heavily by the attackers. Also, the APTs will be targeting enterprise grade softwares for payload phishing server. So it's very evident from the current scenario that APTs have been leveraging the existing trusted applications like Azure hosting services, and there are other things as well. There are a lot of case studies coming out as of now. So we might see that the abuse of these enterprise grade softwares will be there. It will be might be for the phishing based operations or something like that. So that might be the case. Then this is one of the predictions that was also included in the current forecast report by Google security team, and that is that there will be a lot of attacks that will target hybrid and multi-cloud. So the organization who are still following the hybrid approach, that is, they have some of their critical services in on-premise. For the identity-based services, they are using, let's say, the cloud providers or some third-party, applications. So there might be the they will be very vulnerable to these kind of things, because they are fully transitioning to a specific model, and obviously any model is very specific to any organization, so we can't compliment on that. But still there can be a lot of things going on this model, as well as since a lot of companies already trust the cloud as of now. Yeah, we have seen that their prices and their billings have spiked up a lot these last quarters, but still because of the performance, because of the optimization offered by these CSPs, these things are still you know um, huge organization are following these things for deploying the applications, etc. So there can be a lot of attacks that will target the hybrid and multi-cloud environment. So yeah, that can be the thing. Yeah, and other would be the sophisticated and stealth attacks in the on-premise environment. So previously we have seen that the Active Directory environment, which is the core, infrastructure that is handled by various banks, various like defense units, etc., to actually manage everything on their own, as well as with the involvement of various interesting services as well as applications. So we might see that there will be a spike in these sophistication on the attacks. So the recent one that is going on might be, let's say, the SCCM or SCOM abuse. So something like that that can be used for attacking the enterprise environment. So we might see things related to that. Then rise in MFA based attack. So we will be recently we will be covering one TTP, or I can say case study that we have covered. So that will actually leverage this MFA based things. So we will understand that. But yeah, obviously since most of the organization have one of their trusted provider, so for multi-factor authentication to actually work, the attackers are actually leveraging the employees, might be the IT help desk or the support team, to provide these kind of sensitive information or post-based authentication. So with they are just sending a lot of requests once they have got the valid credentials. So things like this will be in rise as well. Now, QR based hacking, so there will be a lot of phishing based attacks which will leverage the QR, evil QR or the malicious QR. So this can be the things. And obviously with the rise of AI and machine learning applications and the tools, so generative AI tools will be leveraged for sophisticated chain attacks. So you might have seen, if you are following the current trends, that AI as well as ML has a very huge application in the cybersecurity industry, and generative AI is kind of it can be a boon, as well as it can be it works both way basically. So with the integration of the multiple tools or multiple TTPs. So this can be, very interesting to look on what are the attack surfaces that arise, as well as two interesting things that are going down the line. One is the adversarial ML, as well as the ML based vulnerability, sorry, ML based things. So there can be two separate module that originates from this kind of things. So these are some of the 4 to 8 different things that we will see, or that we are predicting that might spike in future, that is in the 2024. So there will be a lot of things or the attacks happening around this corner there. So the things are that whatever we have covered here, the CRTS V2 is prepared on top of that. So whatever predictions that you will find here, we have tried to include the simulation of these things in the CRTS V2 course. And you will find these things interesting when we actually cover the features and the scenarios, as well as the simulations in the next set of videos. So let's understand some of the interesting case study or the red team scenarios. So let's first cover this MGM attack flow that happened recently in September 2023, and this is our first case study. So recently, you might have seen that MGM, this one of the leading, service providers, telecom service providers in US, have been compromised, and this is the actual attack flow, how that full compromise had happened. So there was an attacker. So they had actually gathered a lot of information about the MGM and its employees, like where they work on performing extensive open source intelligence. Then they choose some of the targeted victims, those likely to have high leverage in Okta system through LinkedIn. So either they have created fake profiles, or they have leveraged, or they have been in discussion with these people who do not have too much technical expertise, like people working in support team or in the help desk department. So they have actually found the target accordingly. They have shortlisted them who they will be targeting. Now, based on that, they have identified that MGM actually uses Okta for authentication and for authorization to their internal infrastructure. So they have actually understood the flow. So this is all a part of OSINT, or during the open source intelligence stuff, where they are just gathering the information about the target. Now, what they did, that they performed wishing. They had called the people whom they have pointed out in the second step. They contacted the MGM IT desk. They impersonate a privileged victim, and they get IT to recite the MFA of a victim user. So one of the user, they have actually impersonated that user, and that user possess some sort of privileges in the Okta systems that is used by the MGM. So they were very successful in impersonating that privileged user, and they have got access as super administrator in the Okta environment. So they compromise Okta super admin and then more administrators, because they have got access to it. So they can, like after this point, there can be a n number of impersonation. They can impersonate any other user, or because they are a part of the organization right now, they are actually in the Okta environment. So now they can, do a lot of things. They can access the application that the impersonated user had access to. They can perform specific spear phishing attacks on the employees of the MGM. So that's what they have done, and they have actually got the Okta super admin access on that. Now, through this, they have got the domain admins on the domain controller. They also compromise the admins on the Okta syncing server. That was one of their multiple on-premise server that was present. And they also became global administrator in the Microsoft Azure. So basically, they have compromised to the root level. They have the full access or unrestricted access to all of their services, either talking about on premise, either talking about the cloud environment, environment, or some of the things that is syncing the on-premise and the cloud stuff. Then at the end, they exfiltrate sensitive information or the data from the network. They encrypted 100 plus VMware ESXi servers, and all the services that run on top of them. So this is a very interesting case study to understand, like how they got initial access and how they leveraged the or how they have fooled the IT desk to actually provide the recite the credential and access the internal applications, and at the very end accessing their resources or the IPs of the MGM. So there are a lot of things to understand in here. If you go into the details, if you actually look into the IOCs, the actual TTPs, right? So a lot of things to learn on this particular end. Let's cover the next case study, that is the GitHub self-hosted runner. So this is one of the exercise that is present in the CRTS V2, and here we have tried to simulate a kind of CI/CD based attack, a kind of a supply chain based attack, not in a full manner, but partially what we can simulate in the lab environment accordingly. So how the attack flow looks like is that there is an attacker, and then there is a personal access token. So if you talk about these applications like GitHub or GitLab, etc., so they use such kind of authentication system other than credentials like PAT, or it is called personal access token. So PAT have some level of access on the repository. So let's say you create a repository, and you want the developer or let's say any external user to provide a specific access of that repository. You don't want to public that repository, but you just want the third party user to just look into the things and have read only access. So how you will be doing that? So in that case, personal access token come into place, where we can provide very specific level access to any third party user without even publicizing our repository, and then they can access the stuff. So let's say we found somewhere one of the personal access token or PAT leaked in one of the let's say open repository, or during OSINT we found some kind of stuff. So this particular personal access token has admin level access on the target organization, right? That means the repository that this particular PAT belongs to, we can perform a lot of things, including deleting the repository, including writing something into the repository, and the list goes on and on. Since we have unrestricted access via this PAT, we can do a lot of things. Instead of deleting or just putting a ransom note in there, we can backdoor the actual application or the code repository that is present there. So that is one case scenario. Here we have done something different. So using PAT, we have accessed the client infrastructure, right? And here we have created a malicious workflow in the GitHub Actions. Now, when creating a CI/CD pipeline, let's say if any of the code is pushed to the repository, the deployment will automatically happen as per how the pipeline is configured. So here we will be configuring a malicious workflow or a malicious pipeline. We will be backdooring it, and as soon as we do that on the repository that we have access to, we will be pushing our malicious code here in the repository. And as soon as the application understands that there is some push that has happened to this will now execute or deploy the code to their self-hosted runner. So the self-hosted runner can be present in multiple location. It can be present in the cloud. It can be on the on-premise and with the different tech stack. You can also have your own Docker container which sit and listens for this, where you can actually deploy it. So this is the, let's say, the another client location where whatever code is posted in this repository, that will be automatically built and then built and compiled, and then put it in the production, something like this, right? So it can be in any of this location. So based on the code that we have pushed to the repository, that will be executed here on the self-hosted runner that is maintained by the organization, and then we will have a callback to the command and control server. So this is very interesting case study. We have seen these things leveraged a lot in the organization, because since most of the organization follow or take service of let's say GitHub SaaS application or GitLab, where they host something on the on-premise, which they can manage or fully manage their things themselves. So this is a very interesting case study that we will be taking have a we will be taking look once actually go into the details, like how the things works here. So this is from the leaked PAT to the to accessing this whole infrastructure, and at the end we get the access from to our attacker command and control server. So this is how the whole flow looks like, right, for the second case study. Now, let's before this, I would like to talk about a couple of points. So, while we were planning for the table of contents and the syllabus for the Red Team Specialist course, we thought that since most of the Red Team community is very open, right? Like people love to share their resources. There are a lot of things that are already open source, already published, so we don't want to recreate something that is already there, right? We don't want to reinvent the wheel. So we don't want to jump into the theoretical details and the other stuff. So what we have done in the CRTS V2, the interesting thing is that it is a case study based course, right? So here you will be understanding all the actual red team TTPs or the techniques that we have, or the scenarios that we have seen or that we have gone through. So you will be understanding these things and you will be replicating the same things in the lab. So it's not like there are a lot of theory that you need to learn. Obviously there are some things that are attached to the scenarios, to the practical environment, so you will be going through that. But obviously this is not all the things that are already out there. We encourage you to cyber warfare labs basically encourage everyone to have a look at the open source repository, the blogs, interesting blogs, the threads in Twitter and in other platforms, hacking forums. So yeah, have a look into that. There is not an issue, but the main as of now, the scarcity is of the practical environment, the scenarios where people would like to understand and where people would like to test their skills and do the hands on in the lab environment. So that is where we are putting too much emphasis on the practicality, on the scenario based approach, on the learning based approach, right? So these are the things that we have thought while we were covering everything. And that's why if you have enrolled previously or you plan to enroll in the CRTS V2, so you will find everything in format of case study. There are not of a lot of things in the whole theoretical section, but you will find a lot of things in the actual lab write up as well as in the exam. So that is the flow. So yeah, announcing the Red Team Specialist V2. So before this, I would like to say that we got a lot of response for the version one, and as I was explaining that this was one of our very first course that we had released when cyber warfare come into existence in around April 2020. So that was one of our first course, and then we thought that every course has an attached expiry to that, right? We can't sell these kind of things, or we can't provide these kind of things for let's say 5 to 10 years. So we have created an internal policy of redesigning or attaching more contents, more modules as soon as things goes kind of outdated. So that's why CRTS V2 is built on a very top notch level based on the case study. So it's focused on actual red team case studies and practical scenarios. That is the main focus here. It covers updated on-premise attack simulations. So we have so far covered a lot of interesting techniques on the on-premise sections only. So previously, you if you have gone to the V1, so you have like the atomic nuclear power plant theme lab, but here we you will be performing an the adversary simulation in an electric power grid theme lab. So we have changed the lab scenario. Basically all the text that we have covered previously, we have jumped on to another level where we have covered a different tech stack, modern tech stack that are used by the red team scenarios for replication, for testing their internal teams, a lot of things. Also, you will be getting premium materials plus 30 days lab access, which you can schedule anytime. That is the beauty. Plus two exam attempts as well. So let's say for the first exam attempt, if you schedule with us and things do not come up to the mark, we provide results within 3 working days, and we provide the results with a feedback. So if anyone fails or do not score well in the first attempt, they have one free reattempt that is provided for free. And we also provide feedback which can be easily resolved, and like we also provide more details or more updates on how you can actually improve your exam report as well as the your operations in the exam lab. So it's we want you to succeed, we want you to actually understand how the actual red team scenario looks like for this specific course. So that's why everything is practical, everything is as per the market standard, and like latest stuff. Yeah. So the best thing is that enroll now, get lifetime material access, schedule labs and exam anytime. So there is no kind of expiry date attached to the things. Like let's say if you enroll now, you have to um, like schedule the or the lab will start instantaneously. No, that will not happen. We provide the flexibility to schedule the exams and lab anytime within 2 years. Now why we are not yeah, obviously if there are some reasons or some things that you would like to extend more than 2 years, that is also fine. But we don't actually recommend anyone, because we have the policy of upgrading our courses every 3 years with some modules, with some updated contents, with the labs that we had previously. So yeah, that is the whole flow for the CRTS V2. Now, some of the CRTS V2 topics that we have focused on. So the first is the attack simulation. So this attack simulation is covered on the base of case studies. So as previously mentioned, that whatever interesting red team case studies we have identified, we have tried to include this in our lab in the format of exercises that you will see in the whole scenario. Then abusing Microsoft based services. So there are a lot of things, the some things like Microsoft Exchange Server, on-premise Exchange Server. Then we have the Active Directory domain services, Active Directory certificate services. Then something related to GMSA, group managed service account. Things that we have seen a lot abused by the threat actors and heavily focused, or a point of ground zero for the red team. So that's what we have focused on, this particular stuff. So that is there. Now, lateral movement part is very interesting here, that you will learn. So you will understand how to move laterally from a one network to another, from one machine to another machine, and that has multiple scenarios like Windows to Linux, Linux to Windows, something like this. And around 8 to 10 different lateral movements techniques are covered in this particular section. Then other would be abusing enterprise grade software. So we have tried to include whatever open source software we can in the lab environment, including the electric power grid simulation that we had put in there. So everything is present as is. You will learn a lot. The best thing that we have tried to include is something that is called the SSO. We have tried to simulate the SSO based attacks as well, single sign on, MFA, evasion stuff in the lab scenario. So yeah, that is also a point to understand. So these are some of the topics. Here you can see attack simulation, abusing MS services, lateral movement, abusing enterprise grade software. Talking about the CRTS V2 lab, so this is how the lab looks like. This is not the actual internal architecture. This is just for letting you know that whatever tech stack that we have, that you will see here is present in the lab as well. But the actual lab looks very different, as well as has multiple attack paths. In the CRTS V2, we have included two unique attack paths in the whole environment. So you will have one of the path where you will take, that we can say as an intermediate level path, and second is an hard path where you will, face a lot of services, sophisticated scenarios, complex scenarios to actually, go and move towards your objective that we have provided, right? So this is just the kind of lab overview. You will be acting as a red team operator or a red team specialist, and then based on that, whatever tech stack that you will see is also scattered in the lab environment. So you can expect machines, more than 15 plus machines, which is updated, patched by various, softwares. Like the vulnerabilities are patched, and other things in there. So lot of interesting stuff that you will find in here. Talking about the lab highlights, you will be performing the adversary simulation in an electric power grid theme lab. There are two unique attack paths attached to this lab, right? You will be abusing enterprise grade software like GitLab, like MFA simulation, something that we have built, custom initial access scenarios that we have added in there. You will learn around five different initial access scenarios, and you can use these things as is during your pen testing, during your red team operations, whatever you are planning. Then compromising an isolated air gap type network, that is where our electric power grid simulation is actually present. So the lab is very interesting. You will get the lab write up as well. This is not a challenge lab. This is a practice lab. So you will be provided with two different and unique write-ups, as well as there is a kind of MCQs attached to this, or flag-based MCQs attached to every path, where you will refer, you will perform the attack, and then understand the scenario. Then whatever is asked in the question, you will go through the things. So that's how the flow looks like, right? So this is all about the lab highlights. Now, yeah, very important thing, like what is the certification procedure and what we provide at the very end. So the first step is that candidate will be enrolling in the CRTS V2 on demand course via our website. They will get access to complete study materials, that is videos plus PDF plus lab write-ups, etc. They will get everything in the LMS. Now you take your time, you study, understand the concepts, the whole flow, whatever we have taught. Feel free to ask the questions with the support team via email. So we are available over email. We can provide whatever doubts you have. You can contact us, and then after that you can schedule 30 days lab access anytime as per your convenience. So let's say if you want to, let's say if you are doing some job, or engaged in some other work. So let's say you take around 2 to 3 months to understand the study material, go through the actual flow, whatever it is, and after that, whatever time you would like to activate the lab access, you just need to mail the support team, and then right away, within 2 days, support team will share the lab access details with you. So that is how the flow looks like. Schedule anytime, right? This 30 days lab access. Now you have to set on 24 hours hands-on examination. So this is where we have up the game, where whatever techniques we will be teaching in the lab scenario, in the practice lab, you will be having a different kind of network, but possibly the same kind of complexity in the exam lab as well. So we have tried to make it in such a way that it looks very professional, it looks as per the market and how actual professional red teams are operating right now. So that's what we have tried to include in the examination setup. So you will be getting 24 hours only for the examination. You can schedule it with the support team. And for this as well, there is no time associated to schedule the examination. If you want to, let's say, enroll today and schedule the examination, let's say on 12th of Jan, that's also possible. Or let's say if you want to, let's say, um, attempt the examination after 6 months, after 1 year, so that is also possible, right? So it's also as per your own convenience. Then additional 24 hours are provided for the reporting stuff. And also, we do not as of now follow any reporting standard. So we just want to know as well as understand what's your approach. So obviously, people have different minds, they have different approach in the lab scenario. So we want to understand the approach only. We don't focus the beautification stuff, like what you exactly do, or what you have, how you've outlined the things, what all images you have pasted. So we don't actually go into too much detail. But yeah, a simple PDF which shows us what you have attempted in the examination. We just want to understand the approach as well as the point of objective that we have provided to you, and what level of access you got in there. So 2 to 3 different things we have tried to understand in there. And yeah, so you will get 324 hours separately for the reporting as well as for the documentation stuff. Now you clear the examination by scoring around 70%. That is judged by the instructors. We will be reviewing your report, and within 2 to 3 working days we will be providing you with the updates. Like if you are, let's say, successful, we will share the accreditable verified badge ASAP. And let's say if things doesn't come up to the mark, then we provide you with a reattempt. And that reattempt is kind of free of cost. We provide you with a feedback, like what is the actual feedback, where you lagged, what specific thing to focus on, how you can level up your approach. So it's all learning, all practical learning, right? You will definitely love the scenarios. And I'm sure that if you enroll in there, you will learn how the things actually work, not only on the theoretical side but majorly on the practical side. So that is what our main emphasis on providing you with the practical stuff with a practical scenario, right? Right team scenario. So this is how the certification procedure looks like. Now, who are the target audience? So we actually target the candidates who have some sort of pen testing experience, who have been doing this penetration testing for, let's say, a couple of years or maybe more than that, who have gone through the details and learned about these stuff prior. So some of them include the cybersecurity specialist, mid-level and senior level penetration testers, right? So these are the ones. Then red team analyst, operators, lead and specialists. So whoever is engaged in the red team role in their organization or want to pursue in this domain should have a look at this particular certification. Now, anyone interested in learning offensive information security, they are welcome. Please have a look into the things, and I'm sure that you will learn a lot with the feedback. It's not like that you will only enroll and then it's all automated, that you will learn on your own. It's kind of boring experience. No, we provide our own inputs where you can level up, where you can actually skill up in this particular sector. So yeah, that's the added advantage of this stuff. Some of the prerequisite is that you know about the basics of web, the network penetration testing. These are the basics that people know these days. But still, if you don't know, we suggest that you should first learn the basics of this, the basics of programming and scripting, because there's a lot of user based simulation that we have built in the lab flow. So you will be developing some custom like programs for abusing these softwares, right? Like abusing the functionality, right? So that is the main goal here. So that is the flow. Then familiarity with the CLI or the command line interface environment. So that is the main thing, because major of the stuff we will be taking help of the attacker machines, let's say Kali or Parrot, right? So whatever you use. But yeah, obviously the CLI based thing that we will be choosing. So these are the important things in there, right? So yeah, ending note. I hope that you have understood about understood the flow about the CRTS, like what we have tried to cover, what is the syllabus, and what are the exercises. So if you actually want to go into the details and follow the actual syllabus, you can have a look into our website. I will paste the link in the chat box once we finish this particular slide. So yeah, I will quickly go through this ending note. So you will receive the webinar attendance certificates within 24 hours. That is by tomorrow, Sunday. So you will receive the things in your email. If you have not done that, please, if you have not received anything from us, feel free to like email the support team. But rest assured, you will definitely get the attendance certificate that you have attended this and gone through the flow. We will publicly announce the giveaway winners on 18th of December 23, that is on Monday. We will publicly announce around five winners that we have received a lot of response in the social media. So we will be like providing the inputs there. So this particular webinar recording will also be uploaded in the YouTube channel, in our Cyber Warfare Labs YouTube channel. So feel free to follow us there. If you are not following as of now, please do that. You will find this recording as well as the various interesting webinars, pure technical webinars, some of the other stuff like blogs and the promotional events that we run. So you don't want to miss these kind of deals to actually level up yourself. So I suggest that you please follow us, where you will find everything centralized in a place. Do tag us and follow our channels for any future updates. If like whatever things that we run, if you want to be updated and be in touch with us, feel free to do that part. So yeah, thank you. If you like the webinar, please feel free to shout out and tag us at social media platforms. And these are some of our email IDs, etc. So quickly going towards the link, that is the CRTS. So here you will find some interesting stuff like the lab highlights, prerequisite, everything is there. For the certification procedure, everything is present here, and the syllabus is also present here as well. So you can have a look into the details, like the exact thing that we have included in here. So how we have categorized these stuff, like initial access, what are the real life case studies that you will be replicating locally, so that is also there. Advanced AD attacks, what we are covering, delegation, Linux, Active Directory abuse, GMSA, some interesting stuff, as well as the addition of the lab scenario. Okay, so this time you will be getting video access, you will be getting premium materials to learn, then a 30 days lab with two write-ups, then 24-hour examination, as well as reporting with a shiny accreditable badge. So these are some of the things that you will be getting for the whole flow. So I think I have took a lot of timing from you. So I will now ask. Sorry, I will now take the queries now. So yeah, someone is asking, this is recorded. Yeah, this is recorded. So you will be getting information that I think via email, as soon as we share the certificates with you, that this particular webinar will be recorded and it will be present in the YouTube. Yeah. One is asking, hunting like this, courses for upskilling my knowledge. Yeah, thanks, Siddhant. You will definitely learn a lot. Any concrete differences and or advantages? So one is asking question that if there is any concrete differences and or advantages. I think you are asking in terms of the course. So I can personally vouch for this, because whatever things we have included in here, you will not find these things in the other things, other certification bodies what they're following, because this is majorly focused on this the case studies, right? So the case studies and the scenario is our main focus. That's what we are like what we have included in the lab. And as already mentioned, that these syllabus and the information, it's already out there, right? You will find a lot of cheat sheets, lot of books already there. You will, no need to reinvent the wheel again. Instead of this, what people want to understand is the practical things. That means they want a scenario where they can actually practice the red team scenarios, what actually professional teams are doing right now. They want to practice this but in a controlled environment. So that is the main advantage of this whole flow. Yeah. um, Bravish is asking, does evasion necessary in the course? No. So we have not included any evasion related modules in there. So if you are interested in this, feel free to have a look at our CSCO course, that is the Steel Tops Red Team training that we offer. So feel free to have a look into this. We cover a lot of internals related to the evasion, where we teach about some of the evasion techniques, the generic ones, obviously not the commercial products. What how these applications, or sorry, or these AVs or these EDR approach in providing these things, and how we are tackling them, right? So we have provided these things not in this course, but you will find this in the CSCO course, that is the Steel Ops Red Team Operator. So have a look into that part. Okay, thanks. Yeah, so there is one question. Are there any specific required cybersecurity skill that the candidate must master? So there is one question from Mohammed. Yeah, it is required basically. So why we suggest, sorry, for people to learn about these CLI based stuff and this programming bash, or the scripting, is that the exercises that you have, that you will go through once you proceed with the flow, you will learn that these all these things, if you have prior knowledge about these things, it becomes easy for you. Else you have to learn the things again and again. So that's the stuff for that. Arjun is asking, hi Yash, I have knowledge in network and web. Can this course help me to learn the red teaming from ground up? What's your opinion? Yeah, Arjun. See, this as already, I'm repeating myself again and again, but the things are that, yeah, if you have a knowledge about the basics of web and network, we will be providing. We have built an environment which teach you about the red teaming skills, about the actual operations, how these are performed in the enterprises. So yeah, that's what we have included, and you will learn a lot specific to what is currently running in the market, in the existing market, and whatever we have taught in this course. If you have following this webinar from the starting, we have also announced some of the predictions. So in the prediction itself, we have talked about around 8 to 10 different points, and based on that we have tried to include the emerging things in the lab scenario. So yeah. Yeah, recording will be there, as I mentioned that it will be in the YouTube channel. Yes, there will be an examination. So as I mentioned that if you have any doubts, the simple doubts can be easily resolved if you visit our website. I will just mention in the chat box to everyone that this is our link. Okay, I have just mentioned it. So if you go into this link, you will find all the details there. Everything, whatever things are there. So you will find the stuff, present there. Yeah, some of the questions are still remaining. What are the updated modules, headline chapters for the red team specialist news version? Please have a look into the link that I have shared. You will find the exact details in there. Yeah, so Eden is asking, do you need in the end of to be able to write own scripts, payloads, hence programming? So not very technical skills are required, only basic understanding that you can read what this code will do works, right? So that is basically the flow here. Yeah, so yeah, Raj, we will be sharing the recording. It will be available in the YouTube channel, so feel free to follow Cyber Warfare Labs. Also, you will be getting the attendance certificate, so there you will get this particular link as well. Ali is asking, is this exam similar to practice lab? So, see, practice lab is something different. It's quite big, right? That's why it's for 30 days. You can't cover these things in 24 hours. That's why we have provided the flow. But yeah, exam lab will be built on the with the same complexity level as a practice lab. It will have different scenarios, not exactly that we have in the practice lab, but yeah, the complexity would be the same, and it will be all open book. That is, there is no proctoring, nothing. You can attempt anytime as per your own time zone, whatever time zone you are following. Let's say UK time, US timing, Pacific time, or let's say Indian time, whatever it is, you can schedule accordingly. Yeah. How will be pivoting level be? So one is asking, what is the pivoting level? So pivoting will be very deep. That's what you might have seen in the version 1 as well. So there will be around, I say around 3 to 4 level of pivoting when we reached till the exact end where the simulation is present. So yeah, like that. Is there any voucher kind of thing for this certificate if anyone unable to afford but want to change in career via this certificate? So one is asking Javed. So yeah, see, as of now, this is in as per my opinion, this is priced as very low. You can see that the pricing for this is around $199, right? So there you will get this premium material, 30 days challenge lab, two unique paths plus 90 plus pages walkthrough, simulated lab, two exam attempts, one accreditable lab badge. So if you compare this particular pricing with the other certification bodies who are offering XYZ certificate, you will see that there is a huge difference in the offerings as well as the pricing. So you will find probably maybe more than that whatever others are offering with the cheaper price and with better quality, right? So that is the flow here in this case. So as of now, no vouchers, but yeah, you can follow us in social media if there are anything. So if there is anything, yeah, we'll definitely, you will get an idea for that. There are multiple questions coming as well. Are those prices in American dollars? Yes, it is. These are in dollars. Yeah. I think some of the questions are still the same. Whatever the things are. Rahul Nair is asking, how is it different from this and this course? So, see, the things are that if you have gone through the whole flow, this is categorized in terms of case studies, right? This is not categorized in terms of any specific topics, because obviously, if we were to build a proper team course, that will how we will be covering the, let's say, the cloud topics, or let's say there is a red teaming in, let's say, CI/CD, or let's say there is a red teaming in actually the web environment or the network environment, or let's say any other environment. So it can't be very specific, right? So we can't build a red team course on specific topics. Let's say we teach about Active Directory and we say that this is red teaming. No, that is not will be happening here. So CWL as a platform, if you look at the number of courses that they're offering, that has different set of expertise and different set of things. So someone else, whatever certification they are offering, either they have clubbed everything, but cyber warfare labs have segregated things very separately. So this particular CRTS V2 is focused on multiple latest and emerging red team attacks in terms of case study. So that is the main thing. And we have not focused on a specific technology, but what we have thought is actually um, kind of a scarcity in our domain. That's what we have tried to include here, right? Basically the practical labs as well as the custom scenarios. So hope, Rahul, your answer is clear here. Thanks. Still, I think same questions. Uh, okay, so I think there's still the same questions. So what we will be doing next is that if you have any other questions, please um, email at support team. I'm just mentioning the email, support at cyberwarfare.live. Yeah, so I have just mentioned, you might have, all of you might have got some messages. So feel free to have a look into this. And yeah, so the things are that yeah, so I would like to thank you all, personally thank you all for joining this webinar, to actually understand and taking some time out to in the weekend, in Saturday, to actually learn about these things. And we have not only taught about this, not specifically focus on the CRTS V2 launch, but it was also on the case study side that you have learned something. So you will find everything in our website as well as in the YouTube channel. So yeah, you will learn these things. And thanks a lot, all of you, for joining this call. Sorry, so joining this webinar. And if you have anything, any questions, you can reach out to me as well in LinkedIn, or if you have any specific question to the course or anyone, you can please email support team. So we will be there to answer and we will clear your queries. And yeah, so we'll provide all the updates on Monday who will be winning, and probably there will be I think Christmas sale coming. So if you want to enroll in there, you still you can wait and then enroll at that time as well. So that also works. Whatever is there, yeah. Thanks. So yeah, I think there are some still repetitive questions coming. So yeah, I will be just ending this webinar. Enjoy your weekend, and my personal suggestion would be to learn a lot, as well as New Year and Christmas is coming. So yeah, in advance, Happy New Year, and Happy Merry Christmas to all of you. Thanks a lot. Thank you for joining this webinar. Yeah, thanks.